What up, everybody? I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah! And I hope you're ready because we're doing another Fantastic Four. Yeah, we're going back to the old school. And I'm talking the old school Fantastic Four. Issue 98. Man, it's been a strange trip, but we're already in issue 98. Doomsday on the Moon. And yes, the Fantastic Four are hunting someone on the moon. Someone dangerous. As Reed is in his lab. And he actually tells you that the year is 1969. And I want you to keep that in context with a lot of the stuff that's going on in the here and now, in this reality, in the Fantastic Four. Anyways, Reed has deciphered this message, and he only got one word out of it: tranquility. And he's trying to figure out what that is since they've had problems with the Kree before. They've dealt with the Kree Sentry. So they know the Kree are a viable threat to the Earth. So he's trying to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Ben's just kicking back, waiting for breakfast, reading about the Apollo landing, Sea of Tranquility, moonwalk, the moonwalk. And I ain't talking about Michael Jackson. Anyways, Johnny comes in, Ben kind of hugs his paper since the only form of communication and entertainment that he has at this point, besides the boob tube, of course. Reed actually sees the Sea of Tranquility bit, and then he kind of deduces that they mean the moon. So this creature, this Kree, is on the moon. And this is how smart Reed is. And, people give Reed so much credit for his scientific achievements, but he has almost a Sherlock Holmes way of deducting things. Anyways, of course, this Kree sentry, he gets out, and he has this ray gun that Doctor Doom would love to have under his Christmas tree, if you know what I'm saying. It manipulates matter, and it brings up an entire island. You heard me. It made an entire island, like a replica of the moon for the simulation. Now, this Kree is here to literally stop the moon landing, stop all space, faring by the Earth. That way the Kree could just come in, mop them up. They'll have no idea what's going on. They'll have no advanced communication. Meanwhile, Sue's babysitting Reed's son, Franklin, who later on becomes one of the most powerful beings in the world. But that's another story. Sue says she feels the vibrations. And, of course, I'm picking up good vibrations. As they take off and they're rocking, you got to give it to the Fantastic Four. Reed always has some kind of new toy, invention, something really awesome. Anyways, the Fantastic Four take off, and they're going on the journey. And Reed actually mentions they only have enough fuel for a few minutes. So I don't know how rocket fuel is so expensive when they're able to invent everything else. But meanwhile, they land in their location. Johnny paves the way. And this is the simulator moon right now, I suppose. And of course, he uses fire powers, makes a little landing pod for him. And this is where they're looking for the bad guy. So Thing decides to throw everything out the window and just decide to say hi by getting a big rock and smashing it on the island. Anyways, the astronauts are off. They're heading to the moon. And back in the day, this was a very historic moment. The moon landing, the space race meant everything at this time. It's a lot different than it is now. This was a hope. This was an outreach. This was mankind reaching out to a new horizon that I think maybe we failed in totally encompassing. But anyways, they see the sentry. They engage. And he's prepared. He's got super strength. The suit actually helps out. The jet boots that have laser beams that come out of them. So yeah, this guy's a lit fit, and he damn sure ain't taking no shit. And he's just taking them out one by one. And of course, he tricks Johnny, kind of gets him in a wind tunnel, knocks his powers for a loop a little bit as he goes for the leader, which is smart. I mean, why not take out the leader if you can? He's using him as a shield so Johnny won't burn him, but Reed has other plans. Now, Reed is pretty calculating, too. That's why you got to give it to Reed in so many different ways. Of course, he grabs him, flips him over, and lands him right in the gentle arms of blue-eyed Benjamin Grimm. And it's clobbering times. He knocks him out with one punch, which is very odd, because these sentries could take a lot of damage. And, of course, Reed kind of notices this, too, because they've had prior fights with these things, and they do not go down that easy. Anyways, they see an energy signature coming out from this. They go to investigate, and they find that it's a big chamber. And what they're doing is he's planning on preventing the moon landing by just blowing up the ship. And so they find the device, and they're realizing they're getting weaker and weaker, zapping their strength. And this is what happened to the Kree soldier, too. It was zapping his strength, too, because it takes so much power. It's just pulling from everything. So they're weak, and they can't push the button. But they have to find a way to prevent this. They have to find a way to save the lives of those astronauts that are about to land on the moon and have an unexpected surprise blowing them up as they reach 200 feet, 100 feet, as the device primes, ready to destroy them. But the Fantastic Four have to do something, and Reed cries out for Ben. Ben, help me. And of course, good old Benjamin J. Grimm comes through. Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew comes in and BAM! Just smashes it. You know, Ben Grimm actually saves the day a lot in these early issues, if you know what I'm saying. And yeah, he grabs them. They pull out, of course. The replica, of course, blows up. The Kree soldier is left to his own devices. I mean, Ben can only save so many people, and I don't think that guy was number one on his list. Anyways, they get back in their ship. They take off. The Kree guy is kind of walking away, defeated, as the astronauts land, and they explore a new frontier, because that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And as always, I'm the Comic Outlaw, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah!